Okay, today I want to talk about colorizing using gradient maps. It's just another way of colorizing a black and white photo. Again, not my favorite, but it works. And you don't have to do your entire photo with a gradient map. You can just use it as a portion of what you're wanting to do, just to make something look the way you want it to look. Gradient maps can be located down here. It's the fourth icon over. Right here toward the bottom, second one from the bottom, it's called gradient map. Now the way those work is by looking at the luminosity of a photo. So you can assign a color for the darker areas, the medium areas, and the highlighted areas. You can assign different colors for different areas of luminosity. Probably the first thing I would do, while you don't need to duplicate your background because this is non-destructive, you do need to make sure your background is desaturated. Now if you want to keep your original color, make sure you duplicate your background first and then do your desaturation. You probably should also check and adjust your levels. This one, I did need to bring up the highlights just a little bit. So again, if you don't want to change your background, make sure you duplicate your background layer first. So I'm going to do a quick selection, and I'm going to use the second one over that has the plus sign, and I'm going to select the baby's face if my program will cooperate. There we go. I have two things going on. My mouse needs some work and my computer's running a little bit slow. So now I chose too much, so I'm going to click on the box up here with the subtraction sign to subtract from the selection. And I'm going to erase this little bit of white showing here, this towel section down here, and this towel over here. Now, it may not be, and I'm going to switch back to plus and try to re-choose that piece of his cheek. It may not be a perfect selection, and it does not have to be, but it's good to have a base selection to begin with. Now we will go to the fourth icon over, choose gradient map. And at the moment it is black and white because those were the colors that you had as default. So we will click on that box and you will see these presets. We're working on his skin, so at the moment 2 colors is doable. 3 colors may be better. I may pick this one because it has 3 colors. And you can see very clearly the blue is in the shadowed, the darkest areas. The red is in the medium, and the yellow is in the highlighted areas. And that gives you an idea of what a gradient map does. And in between the red and the blue is sort of a purple color. It gradually fades into the next color, and then you get some orange here between the red and yellow. And that just kind of shows you what a gradient map is. Now if I click on this first stop, which is the shadowed end, the stop portion here comes to life, and this color box, you can double click on that, and I want to choose something that will work as a shadow color for my skin. And on the medium or the middle, which is the middle colors, I want to choose something, and the reason that opened is because I double clicked on that box instead of clicking on that one. But anyway, I want to choose something in the skin tone area, and these are all, you can make these adjustments later. And this one we want, let me get more toward the flesh colors, trying to find not yellow, not too yellow. I'm going to just choose that one for the moment. And now I have my gradient. I may not be happy with this, but I can adjust it later. Just click OK. And now we will change this blend mode to color. And now you can see what it's going to look like. And if you want to go back in and adjust your colors, just click, whoops, cancel. Just click on this box again and it will open your gradient editor, and you can adjust these colors as many times as you want. You can also add more stops if you want to, and I'll show you that on something other than his skin possibly. Now I can see right here I have an issue with my mask. That is this black and white box, and it's easy to fix. Just get a brush, and black will hide and white will reveal. So I'm going to use a soft brush with the color black and just kind of clean that line up a little bit. Switch over to white and get his cheek back in here. Get that back in. And if this was not a tutorial, I would spend more time fixing these edges, but I just want to give you an idea of how this works. Now, there's another thing you can do, and that would be to turn down the opacity if it's a little too much, which I think that was a little much. I can turn down the opacity and get a better color there. The other thing that I have done is I have colored over his eyes. So again, I need to get my brush and my black color and go in here and mask out his eyes. So we don't want them to be flesh colored. Okay. Now, to check your mask, if you will hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and click on the mask, you can see where I have left some white areas in his eyes. So I need to go in there and fix that. And there's a little bit of black here where it probably should not be, so I'm going to switch to white and fix that. And then hold down Alt and click on that mask again, and that brings it back. So there's our skin color. Now, let's go back to the background, because you can't make selections on any other layer. You have to be on the background. And let me see if I can, let's see, make sure we're on the plus here. Let me see if I can use quick selection to select out his towel. And I really don't want that background. Let's see if I can erase that or deselect that. Okay, and now we will go to gradient map again. Now, I was playing with this earlier and I found a really wonderful map that I really liked. If you click on this little gear, it opens up a flyout menu, and down here on special effects, which you can either replace or append, it doesn't matter which one, we'll just append. This one right here is shiny sphere is what it's called. I loved these colors for his towel, so I'm going to use those, and I'm not going to make any adjustments other than I'm going to reverse it, because I want the darker areas to have the darker color and the lighter areas to have the lighter color. So let me switch that to color. Alright, and that was the blend mode here. Instead of normal, we'll switch it over to color. You can try other blend modes, but color seems to work the best. Soft light isn't bad on this. Yep. Overlay is too dark. I like the one that says color. I think that's good. Alright, back to the background again. I don't know how well quick select will work. That did pretty good. I choose his eyes. And we'll go to gradient map. And there are several colors in his eyes, but let's see. We'll choose, I don't like to use black hardly at all. I try to avoid it as much as possible, but I'm going to use a very dark brown. I'm going to stay above that line of black. Just use a very dark brown. And for the top, I'm going to add a lighter, richer brown. And I'm just going to leave it at that for the moment because I want to switch this to color so I can see what it looks like. Okay, now I have a dark brown. Let me zoom in a little. Dark brown, which is picking up on these edges, and a lighter brown that's picking up in the middle. But there may not be enough difference there. I'm going to slide. Let's see. I'm going to add a new one. Click and drag to get rid of that. I'm going to slide this over. And then you can just click here and it will add a new color stop. And I'm going to try, and this is just experimental. You just have to play with it. I'm trying to find some sort of a highlight color for the lightest portion of his eyes. And I don't know why that just turned black. Wow. Okay then. Try that again. Just hit OK. OK. And so he has brown eyes. Again, you can try different ones. I'm going to try soft light, overlay, turn down the opacity. No, not happy with any of that. I'm going to put it, let's see, hue. No, that doesn't work. I'll leave it on color. Okay, now those are my base objects all colored in. Now what I would do after this is start adding empty layers on top, and I would just create a new layer, change it to soft light, and proceed to colorize the way I normally do, which is directly over the photo on a new layer. Every color change gets a new layer. I'm going to choose red here and color in his lips. And you can pick whatever color you want. I usually use red for mouths, but sometimes I'll use a pink color. And then turn down the opacity on that until you get it the way you want it. New layer, soft light. Now I'm not changing colors, but I'm doing a different area, which is going to be his cheeks, and I want to be able to adjust the opacity independently from what I just did to his lips. So I put that on a new layer as well. And I'm not sure if I'm going to like this red, but everything is adjustable. Erase some of this. And I'm going to turn the opacity way down on that. That might be a funny color, I don't know. That's not too bad. New layer, change it to soft light, and I think I'm going to hit these little boxes here to go back to my default colors, get my brush back, zoom in a little bit so I can see his eyes, and I think I'm going to add some black to his pupil because that was just a little bit washed out with that brown gradient map that we did. And then on top of that, new layer, soft light, switch over to white, and I might add some highlights to his eyes. And that kind of gives them a little bit of a wet look. That may be too strong. I could turn down the opacity. It's looking not too bad. New layer. Set it to soft light. I change that so often I don't know why I search for it every time. I pick kind of a golden yellow color here and just put a touch of color in that background just so that's not left undone. New layer, soft light. And sometimes I'll do this, sometimes I don't. I'm going to pick a bright blue, just like the brightest blue on there. Sometimes I do this, like I said, sometimes I don't. I'm going to tint that towel with some blue. And then turn the opacity down. That kind of brings out the shadow of the white. I don't want to use a black to create a shadow. A lot of times if you see whites that have shadows, the shadow is a bluish color. And so I use that one in snow. I use blue for my shadows. But anyway, that is how you can colorize using gradient maps. And they are fully customizable. You can put as many colors as you want to in there. There's one that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors in there, and I can still add more. I think it's only limited to how many you can fit in here. I honestly don't know. I've never tried. And you can change the colors and do all kinds of weird psychedelic things if you want to. It's fun to play with. But that is, get rid of that. That is how you colorize using gradient maps, and if you have any questions, please let me know.